Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people from Reddit. Today we have the heartbreaking story of a man who discovers his wife's years-long affair. Let's see how it goes. I started dating my wife 8 years ago when we were in school, and we've been married for 4 years. It was as close to love at first sight as anything I've experienced. I was ready to ask her to marry me within a month. I waited because I wanted to make sure we both had stable careers set up in the same areas so she wouldn't feel pressured to compromise, and proposed immediately when we did. We've had some fights and arguments, of course, but minor ones. She was everything that I'd always wanted in a partner. Smart, funny, in tune with me, beautiful. I'm not a very socially outgoing person, but she was my best friend and someone I could always trust to be there for me. If you'd asked me on Thursday, I would have said that the last 2 years were the best of my life. On Thursday, my wife went out of her way to tell me that she loved me. She was grateful for the life we'd built together, and she was excited to start a family with me. She told me that she was planning on spending last weekend on a girls' trip for one of her friends' birthdays. After she left for work on Friday, I went to look at something on her computer, only because it was closer than mine. The first thing on screen was an email with the man she was actually renting the Airbnb with. I looked back at her emails to him, and they went back to April 2017. He had made a separate throwaway email account. It looks like she didn't. I've since found out that it actually goes back to the previous fall, 2 years ago. There's nothing actually personally offensive about me, but otherwise, imagine the worst possible set of disclosures you could find about your partner. That's what you have. Talk about how to sneak into each other's houses to have sex, extensive coordinating about my and his wife's few trips out of town, and how they can use that time with each other, nude photos, extensive discussion of everything they're going to do to each other during their lunch break, with a heavy bondage twist. You get the idea. I spent the morning freaking out as everything I thought I knew in my world came crashing down. She came home early because she had to leave for her trip. I showed her the computer screen, told her I was leaving, that I didn't think there was any way to fix this, and that I couldn't talk about it then. She broke down and begged me not to leave and tried to step in front of my car as I was backing out of the driveway. I've always gotten a bad vibe from this guy and been sort of jealous of him, something that I criticized myself for since it seemed so irrational. After some internal debate, I told his wife, because I decided I would have wanted her to do that in the reverse situation. She was also stunned, but told me that she also had a subjective suspicion. I spent the weekend with my friends, who have been unbelievably and humblingly supportive. On Saturday, I got a call from the hospital. My wife checked herself into the psych ward because she was contemplating suicide at the thought of my leaving her. I went to visit her yesterday, and she begged me to take her back. She also lied to me again. She said that her friends didn't know until Friday. I've talked to one of her friends who knew the whole time. I want my life back. I want a friend and partner and confidant, and I want to start a family. I thought she was the perfect person in the world to do that with. I genuinely can't imagine trying to start over with someone else. My wife says she'll do anything to make this work, but what can she possibly do? How can I ever trust her again when she's willing to do this to me for 2 years and lie about it? How can I ever hold her or kiss her or sit across from her at a dinner without thinking about what I know? Are these women out of their minds? She began screwing another man regularly just 2 years into your marriage? What was she thinking? What a horrible, disgusting thing to do. I'm glad you've alerted your family and friends. It's always the right thing to do to get your narrative out before she makes you out to be a horrible monster to everybody. Ignore the suicide threat. She won't follow through. It's just one big manipulation tactic that cheaters pull. You're free. You don't have kids. She never once cared about your feelings for those 2 years. So now it's your turn. Divorce and move on. Now for some Reddit comments. My guess is that the suicide threat was a manipulation tactic. Either that, or she's broken up about the fact that her bondage boyfriend broke up with her once his wife insisted on it. By the way, don't ever doubt your wise decision to inform his wife. There are women that cheat where you can almost understand it, but your wife was lying to you about her love, gratitude, and plans for children as recently as a few days ago, while planning to have sex with another man. Who knows? Maybe she was planning to get pregnant and pawn off the child on you. Someone who is this duplicitous is a seasoned pro at lying and cheating. It would not surprise me if there were many others that came before her current boyfriend. Relationship at this point won't work because it reached the breaking point of trust. I'm sorry for you. It's no way you can't trust her again. It's better for you to start over, and I mean it. This kind of happened to me with my ex-girlfriend, almost fiance. She was dating other guy behind my back, and I truly tried to make it work again, but that odd feeling while holding her hand or the intention to kiss her was killed by the thought of maybe the other guy had already done that. If you consider to make it work, you will be putting yourself in a very hard situation. It hurts like hell, but try to move on. Hope you'll be okay. Story 2. I'm post D-Day on July 25th. My wife is still carrying on with a person she met online. There have been moments where she has been confused and states that she doesn't know what to do and whom to choose, but continues to see the other man. They were carrying on an emotional affair that crossed boundaries about 5 months ago. Since I found out, she has moved in with a friend, but is at the house pretty consistently to help out with our son, 13, and our other son is now in college in his freshman year about an hour away. I'm struggling because I know that I want to fix things and start over. I also know that she is not ready and is continuing to move forward with this other person, even though she is telling me that she's having problems or doubts with him. She tells me all the time that she loves me and is figuring things out. Right now, as hard as it sounds, I'm trying to be the best person I can be. I've learned the things I did to push her into depression, anxiety, and away from me. I'm trying not to count the days until she comes back. I'm trying to move forward. I'm considering dating as well, but I don't feel like I'm ready. I feel like if I can just show her love and caring, things will get better. It's a hard day to day because she's depressed because she knows that her choices have led her to this point. I want to help her, but also know that she may not come back and I may need to move on. It's tough to say that after 19 years together. Part of me knows I should move on and let her go through her journey. She's transparent with me and very kind and caring, knowing that I'm sad. I tried no contact and all that other stuff. I just feel like I know I can get her back and make it stronger. I want to be the couple that succeeds, and she understands that, but hasn't made any commitment to move on with me. I'm not an asshole, and in fact become more empathetic and kinder during this whole thing. I'm cooking and cleaning for my son, and I feel a great deal of pride because of that. I still love this morning more than she will ever know, and I could give her the world. I'm just not sure I will ever get the chance. I realize it's best to move forward and improve myself, which I'm doing, but I'm inconsistent with it. Most days I have to talk to her about coordinating. She tells me that she is struggling with what she wants to do with her life and is worried about that if we reconcile that I would fall back into old habits. No emotional support, lack of affection, etc. She's wrong about that because I understand that love languages now and understand what I failed at. At the same time, we both know we cannot work on this if there is another person involved. I'm trying like hell to move on, but I really want to be a success story. My wife is not a bad person. It's just that she made a huge mistake and is extremely confused. I could wait this out and wait for it to collapse and move on myself. I'm just not ready yet. I also know for a fact that what she's going through is pure fantasy. They don't share a life together. He has a son from a previous relationship that she's met, but also understands that she will never be this person's priority. She should be back with me and her kids, and she states that she struggles with that daily. Instead, she's hung up on the fact of what could be better for her and her future, even though I've committed myself to understand what led her to stray. I'm not angry at her. I'm confused why I haven't got a second chance. I'm not ready to give up, but also wondering if I am wasting my time. I'm not chasing her at all. I'm simply telling her that I'm changing to become a better person. Either she will reap the benefits of that if she chooses, or someone else will. It's difficult when you spend most of your adult life with someone that you love and care about, but regret that you didn't show it. I also know that I'm not at fault. She understands that she did a terrible thing, but she cannot get out of her own head. Also struggles with depression, anxiety, and OCD. I know that time heals all wounds, and I know I shouldn't try so hard, but the new me is here in a more kind and compassionate way. I can only be the best version of myself going forward. She is a bad person. A mistake would be a drunken one-night stand, if that. This is a deliberate, planned affair that she still has not stopped. She has no respect for you or your family. She's for the streets. Have a serious conversation with her and let her know you're ending the relationship and filing for divorce, seeking full custody of your child. This will hopefully snap her out of the affair fog. By tolerating her behavior, you're enabling her actions. and making her think you're a doormat. No one is worth the pain she's causing you. It's time to put yourself and your child first. Now for some Reddit comments. You're playing the pick me dance. That never works. She's treating you like shit because you're tolerating it. File for divorce. You don't have to follow through with it, but it means your wife will suddenly realize she can't have a boyfriend and a family at home, who she's just stringing along as a backup plan in case her and AP don't work out. It'll be, I'm sorry, I never stopped loving you, etc. You need to stand up and become a bit firmer, OP. Don't let her keep you in limbo.